All right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Writer's Cut. This is episode 5, and I'm here joined today by the one and only one of my fellow hardliners, Beacon. What's going on?
Not much. Just been working on collars and my own stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, man, it's the life of a creator.
Yep.
Huh? But yeah, guys, please like and share. Let everybody know we're here. I'm just gonna be tweeting this out to people, so hopefully they can join us in a bit. And so before we get started, Beacon, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your Seven Leagues project and all that fun stuff while I tweet this stuff out to everybody.
Okay. So yeah, I'm a comic writer and colorist. I've worked on Dusty Tortillas, uh, uh, Cyborg USA. Uh, Worked on Outlaw Nights, and working on Tales from the Natverse, and my own project, Seven Legions, where I'm the writer, colorist, letterer, and now I sort of draw half the stuff with. I do half the line art with Sim doing the layouts. So Seven Legions, it's a sci-fi fantasy historical fiction. It's set in the universe where human history as we know it is just a continuation of a much larger history, where the Earth is protected by a galactic peacekeeping force known as the Seven Legions. Um, and it's got the races of fantasy reimagined as sci-fi races, lots of fantasy creatures, um, but reimagined like really interesting looking aliens. Um, and yeah, it's a story of an orphan born in feudal Japan who every night when he goes to sleep he dreams of the life of Azrael, and because of this he winds up being the key to solving the mystery of Azrael's disappearance, which caused him to be drawn into the conflict between the Seven Legions and the three greatest enemies. While at the same time, Hiko's adopted into a samurai clan that is in the middle of the warring states period of Japan's history. So a lot of conflict, you know, pretty awesome action. You know, pretty cool story. Lots of people love the dwarf. Dwarf on a jetpack with a rocket powered axe. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
no man, it's a really fun story. You could
yeah.
find, still get copies of it, right? On
Oh yeah,
Inks.
yeah. You can go on inkslayerintertainment.com and you can buy one of the premium first editions. Only 400 printed. So yeah, get on it while supplies last.
Yeah, and the link should be under the description for anybody who wants to go check it out.
Yep.
Beacon's worked on tons of stuff. He's done some prints and stuff for me. He's
Yep.
done some sketch cards. So, dude's super talented. It's fun to
Thank
come
you.
hang out here with him. And yeah, we're gonna go over a little something that I wrote for. I wrote this years and years ago. It's one of probably the second thing I ever wrote behind the Ace.
Nice.
This is the prelude to the Ace Volume One, little short story I did for Sim's Red Label digital anthology.
Okay.
Sim hooked up with a bunch of us creators to some stuff is like reprints, stuff's like original, like this is. And he just kind of put it all together, and I think he offered it up on Amazon for a while and stuff. This is a
Yeah.
way to introduce people to like these new creators and stuff. I think he's gonna do a second one in the next year, so I might have something that he can put there too, exclusive, which would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
You had Seven Legions on there, right, Beacon?
Yep. The first one, yeah. Uh, put I think I put a sample of issue 2 on there.
Yeah. So yeah, as you can see right here, you got this little mock cover there by Canales. It's the first thing he ever did for the Ace, so I thought it'd be perfect for it. You have the credits in the bottom there. Myself, Barbusco, who did the art. Canales did this piece, and then SK did the letters. It's the first time I worked with SK. He's lettered everything else I've done since.
Nice.
Uh, Dude's super talented. Here's a little credits, all that fun stuff. Then we get right here to the story. So basically, the prelude to the Ace is basically David Diaz kind of origin story. It gives you kind of more background onto what he's about before he kind of finds the armor, and kind of gives a little backstory onto his dad and his family and stuff. So it's a really kind of interesting kind of idea to kind of have the Ace written and then go back and kind of touch on some of his past. I thought it was really kind of interesting things. Just 4 pages. It was kind of nice and quick. But I thought it really kind of adds to kind of like his background. I don't know how much origin work you've done, Beacon, but what are your thoughts on kind of like trying to write kind of some of these guys past after you've already kind of set up the initial kind of story and struggle there?
Yeah, there's some, sort of like just got to cover like the main things, like their motivations and all that, like just like influential figures. Like I'm working with Sim on a origin story for the dwarf, and but it's sort of like halfway an origin story. It's what happened to him after issue 2, and he's going to be back in issue 4. But sort of main thing is just sort of like showing what where he comes from. I'm showing like the home world he comes from, how it is, like just basically like showing what makes him tick, pretty much. And like doing I got another origin story I'm writing for one of the villains, showing what made her a villain. She was one of the first angels, and she had originally been human, got changed by I'll just say like a genetic event to avoid going like into the gritty details. But her kids grew old and died, and she stayed looking young for thousands of years. That drove her mad. She saw generations and generations of her descendants just growing old and dying. So then she started to devalue human life, and that turned her into the dictator she is today. So sort of like main thing about our origin story is just showing what makes people tick, really.
Yeah, good point. You see here, you see David's dad giving his opponent a nice little beat down here in the ring. He's basically kind of talking about, narrating this as the story goes along. Talks about that his dad, he's Hector the Hammer Diaz. He's kind of like he wasn't like more like a regional kind of star than he was like anything mainstream. He was kind of known around his area for knocking guys out. And you see his son there kind of rooting his dad on. And then you see like go down here. I love that. The bam right there.
Nice.
Just like laying the dude out as his son cheers him on. I thought that was a nice way to kind of open up the story, kind of like like a lot of when the Ace takes place, David is just with his mom. So, it's kind of like I wanted to do something that, we kind of explain more about his background and kind of like where we go before he turns 21, which is when he starts the Ace Volume 1 story. Yeah. That was a nice way to kind of touch on his dad and his relationship, because we see him and his mom are close. But so we got there, first page. Go down to this one. See him and his dad right there watching some boxing. As he grows up, his dad, a big fan of boxing. So obviously he wants to teach his son some skills there. And then you see kind of that second panel right there. He's kind of teaching him the right hand. And David kind of ends up kind of taking up boxing, and as see him get a little older, little by little on the panels. And he starts like, nailing the right hand there. And his dad is really like proud of him. And then cut to like him getting jumped like at school and stuff by a bully. and then he ends up like fighting him off. Again, I really like kind of establishing a lot of that stuff, like this
Yeah.
young kid is not, he's not afraid to throw down, he's kind of been taught by his dad. Sometimes you got to fight, So I kind of
Yeah.
like that second page kind of really sets up more about David and kind of like as he's like a young kind of teenager. Kind of gives you a little more about his background, which I think is, like I said, pretty interesting. And we go down to page 3 here. You see him going to the principal's office, and then his dad is super like proud of him. He puts his arm around him. He's like, "Nice job, kid." So again, that's kind of like that. That kind of tells you what kind of father like David's dad is and stuff. How he was raised. So I really kind of like that. And then
Yeah.
again, you see him kind of get a little older as it goes by, and he starts like taking boxing more seriously. Starts to develop a really hard right hand, and then one day, something strikes.
Yeah.
His dad ends up, having a heart attack and passing away. So yeah, it's kind of like takes kind of like the lighter moments that we start, and then we kind of go to like more real life stuff.
Yeah.
See his dad's older there. He's got the gray hair and stuff. So, and then it's nothing they can do, and then that last panel's really it's classic comics.
Yeah.
It's kind of the stuff that kind of we all grew up on. So yeah, and then go down to the last one here, and it's just a shot of David as he is when he starts the Ace. He's 21 years old. He's back at the gym where his dad used to train, and then you see the symbol powers up, and then he ends up crushing the little heavy bag they used to work on.
Nice.
Then it says to be continued, the Ace Volume 1. It's got the Drawn Aces logo, and that's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty effective origin thing,
Yeah.
Fit into a few pages. Really
That's
tells you,
really,
covers the main beats,
yeah. So yeah, it's a really kind of fun little story. I'm actually getting it colored and relettered. So this
Okay.
will be part of like the main kind of Ace lines down the road somewhere. I got to fit it in a issue, but yeah, it'll be lettered and colored. Hal's already taking care of that. So like I said, this will be part of like the main Ace books. I just got to fit in where. Yeah, it's super fun to kind of look back on this. Like I said, it's the second thing I ever wrote, and like I said, not many people have seen it. Only the people kind of checked out the digital. I did print out a couple like ashcans, which I sent out to some backers, but that's pretty much it. So yeah, it's like I'm looking forward to getting this story into more people's hands. That's why
Yeah.
I'm releasing it. But yeah, man, it's a really fun kind of like idea, and this after working on this, it kind of made me want to do more kind of origin stories. That's what kind of led to the Angelique origin story, which you've already covered
Yeah.
on here. The Akula origin story and some other stuff in the future. It's kind of what started everything, and I thought it was really fun and interesting. And yeah, I wanted to share it with everybody. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Beacon. The Seven Legions, man. Do you have like a date for the next issue? What's going on?
No, just right now I'm sort of you know, uh, getting things done, working on next issue. Gonna release it at. I'm gonna do the next 3 issues through print on demand as they get done.
Yeah.
It's just been like a really kind of a slow year, but yeah, working through it, working through the inks, working through the line art on my side. Gonna be coloring both sides, but mainly right now just working on getting Natverse finished. Then it's on to my stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've got everything scripted for the next 3 issues. Um, Actually, issue 5 is kind of an origin. Half of Origin 5 is kind of an origin story for one of the characters, Alana, the red-headed angel.
Yeah.
But yeah, so aiming to hopefully, I would like to have all 3 done by the end of the year, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's not easy.
Oh
People
yeah,
have no idea, man, how much like
oh
stuff
yeah,
behind the scenes. You're just like,
yeah,
yeah, like literally, I have 3 projects I'm working on right now.
yeah.
Uh, you know, probably,
Especially like, yeah, like especially like doing the, I had to take over half the line art because I mean, uh, Pablo, he no longer, he just works on he focuses on working on his own stuff, which I get.
yeah,
But and so I was like, well, I could find someone else. Then Sim gave me the idea. It's like, well, why not just take over drawing his side of the story? I'm like, yeah.
yes,
So
it's a good call.
yeah, so that lowered the cost, but it's still money I got to come up with for Henry, which I want to keep that guy working on for a long time because he's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, got Admiral Wackass in the house. What's up, brother? Thank you for joining us. We're here just talking a little bit about this David Diaz origin story that was put out on the Sims Red Label digital anthology. I'll go through it real quick since you just joined us there.
Okay.
So yeah, this right here is by myself. Barbusco, Canales did that image right there, and then SK ended up lettering the book. Yeah, it's a fun little 4-page black and white story. I will be re-lettering this and coloring it and all that fun stuff. So this will be part of one of the main Ace books. Because I just want more people to kind of check it out, kind of find out some of David's past right here with his dad. He's a former boxer, and David ended up idolizing him as a kid, as most kids do. And then you see kind of him growing up and teaching his son how to box, how to defend himself. You saw him right here facing off against a bully and teaching him a lesson, and making his dad proud of him. And then as he gets older, he starts to take it real seriously. And then one day his dad ends up having a heart attack while they're training, and he doesn't make it. And then just kind of the last page we pick up basically where the Ace starts off, which is David as a young man, and he's got the armor, as you can see there, transforms, and then ends up like obliterating the heavy bag, and then tells you to stay tuned for the Ace Volume 1.
Nice.
Just a really fun kind of story. Like I said, it'll be part of one of the main books, and it's already been colored by Hal. He did a great job with that. So, like I said, just more kind of hitting with that Ace lore for anybody who's a fan of it, kind of giving you some of David's backstory, kind of the stuff that he's been through. And yeah, I'll be sharing that, like I said, with in one of the next projects here. So yeah, we're also hanging out with Beacon here, talking a little bit about origin stories, and just kind of our process about writing them and creating them. I've done a bunch after this. I've done the Angelique origin story, the Akula origin story. I have more in stock. So it's just been something fun to work on. And, it kind of all fits in, kind of like the more kind of you lay out for these characters, the more you can get involved. Are you telling me Shane Davis stole the anatomic supplemental? I don't think so. I think not too many people have actually seen this, unless
Yeah.
they downloaded Sims Red Label stuff. So
Yeah.
thank you, man. Really super happy with that. The Aquila Jones a blast to do. And kind of, I know he has a lot of fans, so we couldn't leave them hanging because he doesn't really play a big role in part 2. So I think the origin kind of it satisfied the Akula fans, but don't worry, he'll be back for volume 3. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So if you missed Akula, you're gonna get your fill of him in volume 3, man. It's
Yeah.
I'll probably talk a little bit about that since we got some time here.
Yeah.
So right now, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, yeah. We can go ahead and talk about that.
Here we go. Aaron,
Hey.
what up, homie? Nice seeing you here, brother. Yeah, man, just hanging out with Beacon, talking a little Ace, all that kind of fun stuff. Yeah, so Ace Volume 3, it's I have 16 pages in from Canales.
Sweet.
I've just had the cover set up and finished. We're going to be announcing who the cover artist is and all that kind of a little bit down the road. It's still a bit of a wait till September. So, but yeah, we'll be kind of putting out more stuff and more information. And it's going to be a blast, man. Like I said, it sets up perfectly from volume 2 to volume 3. The action gets ramped up, we introduce more aliens, more kind of situations. And it's going to be a lot of fun, man. Like I said, as we get closer to September, I'll be showing more art and more kind of details and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, guys, stay tuned. I'll be probably doing the mailing list probably like maybe 3-4 months before the book launches. So, stay tuned for that. But also going to have some more projects and more announcements coming. Maybe something on the hardline tomorrow. So stay tuned for that.
Sweet.
Have some more breaking news about a new project that might be launching before the Ace. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, Beacon, any other more tidbits out there for some of these writers and then kind of people who are looking to create kind of the next big projects?
Well, one thing to think about when you're giving direction to the artist, if you're not the artist, one thing that I learned from between issue 1 and issue 2, sometimes the less direction you give them, the better. Like in issue 1 scripts, I wrote out basically like the panel layout, gave like a really clear panel layout, and that really sort of constricted them. So it was like the panels were a little bland, but then I basically just said with issue 2, I was like this many panels on this page, gave the panel layouts, and then aside from that, no real direction, and he took it and ran with it and came up with some really cool panels, panel shapes, reduced some that weren't really needed, and made it flow a whole lot better. So yeah, trust your artist to do things better. Always be willing to take direction from. Always be willing to listen to their point of view. Also, make sure you're working with a good one, because definitely had some experiences working with some that let's just say Photoshop was really their friend, and not in the way and it should be for an artist.
Yeah, man, that's another thing. Like people, get references on your artist.
Oh yeah.
Get that word of mouth. See how it is dealing with them, because especially if you're gonna lock them in for doing like a big story and stuff, that's a lot of time and money, and you gotta make sure these guys can deliver. And I've been super fortunate. Most of my guys have been on point.
Yeah.
They're super trustworthy and done great work. So that's why I continue to hire them. It's just once you find the good ones, you gotta stick with them.
I've been really happy with Henry. Was really happy with Pablo, but unfortunately he can't. He's not quite doing other people's books now. But another thing I've started doing since I work doing historical fiction. I'll scroll up to this is the script for issue 5. But one thing I like to include is a lot of reference stuff. Especially when I'm working with historical periods. sometimes it's really difficult to find pictures. So if you can help the artist with that reference work, it'll really help them out. You know, it's like here we got an image of a Japanese, traditional Japanese street. You know, a lot of those give them an idea. You know, and then give them a little help with the one of my character designs here. Here, let me just get on the StreamYards and get rid of my picture there. Yeah. See one of my old character designs. Yeah, just but yeah.
There we go.
Help the artist out however you can.
Oh yeah, man. So the thing about script writing, that's a whole other kind of thing we can get into, you know. It's trying to, you know, you want somebody who can kind of get into that same mindset as you can.
Yeah.
You know, so you want to get even if the guy's talented, a lot of times if he doesn't do kind of like, if you want him to do some sci-fi stuff, but he's not really into sci-fi, you could kind of make for like an awkward. So you want somebody who's kind of into and knows kind of the stuff you're trying to put down, you know.
Yeah.
That's another thing, unfortunately, with Canales, because he has a lot of the same references that I do with space, sci-fi, all that kind of stuff. So I can just give him weird kind of references and stuff, and he'll understand what I'm talking about, you know. I mean, most guys wouldn't. So it's always cool to have somebody who can get on that same wavelength. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, you know, part of this issue is sort of an origin story for you got the character Alana. She's the redheaded angel from issue 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, she, you know, sort of covers how she was, you know, she was an orphan on the run from the orphanage where she was at, leading a group of kids. They get attacked by what are called sickle claws, which are basically velociraptors with wings. You know, she tries to save them, but in the end, she's only able to rescue herself. But then Azrael and the others come to save her. You know, he basically takes her in. She's basically like his Robin, but you know, with a lot less child endangerment. So, but yeah, so can't give away too much because there's 2 issues ahead.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, guys. So, yeah, that's just probably gonna bring this to a close. We don't really go that long here, but yeah, if anybody has any questions or anything, you can feel free to shout them out. If not, we will close it down and start getting out of here. For anybody who doesn't know, we do these every 2 weeks. Something I'm trying on my channel just to kind of get back to streaming, and it's cool to hang out with some of my writing buddies and then just kind of go over some stuff. And if we can give any advice or anything to anybody who's coming up and trying to work on stuff, I think it's kind of a cool thing, and also allows me to kind of go through some old stories that I've done and kind of like refresh them with, you know, kind of with my own kind of thoughts, give you my own kind of little director's commentary about all of these. And yeah, Admiral Wackass, I got bad news for you, brother, because that blood is only going to go up, up, and up because Bloodbone is coming. And it's with
Sweet.
the great Joe Ball. And when we start dropping that, people are going to lose their minds, man. So,
Nice.
Like I said, we got a lot of fun things planned in the next year. So stay tuned to the social media because we will be dropping it little by little as it here we go. I'll catch you tomorrow, brother. And for anybody who doesn't know, Hardline every Monday, 10 p.m. Eastern. Myself, Phil, Brandon, Sim, Joe, Beacon, not lately, but he's got a new job, so
Right.
he hasn't been able to join us, but he's still part of the crew. Don't get it twisted, you know. So we're there having fun, talking about food topics, babes of the week, you know, trying to destroy unsuspecting artists' careers by catching them on the stream. saying things they shouldn't, all that kind of fun stuff. So, no, but it's all fun. It's all a blast. And I think the next episode, I'm gonna see if I can get Brandon on. He's not a writer, but he is a creator. He's a guy who kind of is good to kind of pick his brains. So, see if Brandon is actually gonna want to do another stream that isn't on the Zaid Comics channel. So we'll see. Stay tuned for that. Yeah, so we'll wrap it up. Beacon, where can they find you at, brother?
You can find me on Twitter at 7 Legions Comics. That's the number 7 Legions Comics. You can find me on YouTube as Michael Beacon. Yeah, it's pretty much the main places I'm on.
There we go. You can find me at Edwin Aces on Twitter. That's where I drop all the news and info. Please subscribe to my Drawn Aces channel. I'm trying to get this going. Again, like I said, I'll be doing the Writer's Cut stream. Might be bringing back the movie stream, the watch along, maybe the Pimp Your Project stream, So somebody else tried to take a similar name to that, but, it's all love. We'll see if we can bring back the original. So, yeah, guys, stay tuned. Like I said, Hardline, the next week or two, should have some more news about my next project. Thank you so much for hanging with us in the chat. And you guys have a great night.